Good morning, guys, and welcome to Unique Not Different with me, Shamla. And today's guest, I have the PRO of We Care Network, Stephen Dukaran, and today interpreting is your famous Rian Houghton. And recently, CVAS was launched, and Stephen will tell us all about CVAS and the deaf community. So, good morning, Stephen. How are you?
Good morning, I'm fine.
Awesome. Okay, so can you tell me what is CVAS and when did it launch?
Okay, so CVAS, Caribbean Video Assistance Service, it started about 2 years ago. And CVAS, it had a slow beginning, after its establishment. There were few downloads and there was some progress. The progress was slow. And then the use started to increase, especially with me. Before, when it wasn't there, I used to have to ask my mom. I used to ask somebody, depend on somebody to make a phone call for me. But with CVAS, it's so simple. You just download the app and I can call anybody. It'll be a hospital, if it be the police, anything that I need, I can call and use CVAS.
Can you explain?
You don't have to call and ask anybody. I don't have to depend on anybody.
Awesome.
It's for the deaf and also for the blind, both.
Oh.
Also, hearing people can use it as well if they would like to come in contact with me, a deaf person. They call CVAS and then they would link the call to me and let me know what the person has said and it would help. So I hope more people will start to download the app.
Can you tell me the dynamic of the app? How does it work?
Okay. So you check the website, Caribbean Video Assistance Services. They have a website and there's the info there. Click info and you will see how to use it. There's how you can make a call, how you can connect. It helps you how to connect everything. It's very short time. It's easy.
So being a person in the deaf community, since its launch recently, I know that given online schooling and stuff like that, and I recently had, a guest, a young woman, an ambassador, schooling. How would you think CVAS would help in terms of online schooling?
Well, I'm not really sure about online schooling and CVAS, CVAS is more for
Practical.
It's for everything, yes, but concerning school, if the school example would like to call and communicate with a parent, they can.
Okay.
But I know that when you talk about online and Zoom, there's been some difficulty with that, right? So sometimes if you have CVAS there and then the deaf person has to look at CVAS and then look at what's happening in class, so it'll be a bit of an issue. So CVAS would be more for communication, for if you would like to call like the police or those types of things. When it comes to school, I think it'd be much better if you had an interpreter right there with the teacher on Zoom for ease of the student. Because remember, with the deaf, we use our eyes. We pay attention with our eyes. So we can't be looking in two separate, it'll be harder. So for the hearing, they could sit down and relax. They don't have to stare at the screen to get the information for hours. 8 hours, school sometimes goes 8 hours, 8 to 2 or something like that sometimes. It's a bit of a struggle, especially when it comes to eyes and fatigue.
Right. So you mentioned persons in the public service, and we say, let's say example, police, let's say banking sector, etc. How is it? Was there any communication in terms of making the police persons in the banking sector, etc., aware of this? And what was their response if that was the case?
Okay. So police, they aren't fully aware of it. So
Okay.
usually when a deaf person calls in and they say, well, I'm an interpreter on behalf of so and so, sometimes they don't fully understand until the concept is explained to them and they're like, oh, okay. But there's another concern, the banks. Banks don't accept the use of CVAs because of the possible incidents of fraud. It's a bit
Yes, yes, yes.
frustrating, because sometimes, a hearing person could be on the phone talking, but you really don't know if it's the person who they claim to be.
Yeah.
So maybe we're hoping that maybe police, banks, they would download the app themselves if they like. And it will be very important for the deaf community.
Okay. So I know you explained about downloading the app before. So can you reiterate in terms of where do you get the app, and if you want to contact someone in terms of let's say I go online and I don't fully understand the app, who would I contact? Is there somebody, a contact person?
Okay, you could contact myself, but
Right.
I only use WhatsApp.
Good.
So just send your name and your number to me, and I will send you the application process. But one thing, CVAS, Caribbean Video Assistance Service, when you go on the site, you'll see a word that says info, and it's pretty easy, and it's also for the deaf as well. They can easily access it and understand as well and apply. Or there's also a contact there on the site in the event you have any issues.
Awesome. I guess you guys have everything prepared in terms of communication. Rian and Stephen, I want to say thank you so much for coming and sharing this info about this app. I think, as I mentioned before, prior to its launching, you did come and mention about it. But now that it's actually launched and in the community, I think that it will narrow the gap in terms of communication between the deaf, hard of hearing, and persons who can hear. So thank you so much for coming and sharing this and continue, I guess, bridging that gap. And guys, with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to this week's segment of Unique and Different. As always, be good, be good. Bye guys. Bye Ryan. Bye Stephen. Bye.